Alright, so been having ongoing tracking issues with the automower. Mine specifically is a 115H. Continuously tracked left. Research online, you see a lot of people saying, they do it from time to time and they progressively get worse and people have to replace the wheel motor. I found a guy that offers parts to actually rebuild these. Instead of spending, $200+ on a wheel motor, you could buy a new gear set for it, take it apart, clean it up, and get it back to cutting grass. Give you guys a little idea of what's going on here and a quick rundown of how to take it apart and get to it. When I figure out how, I'll add a link to the other guy's video. He goes a lot more in depth and a lot more details than I will be on here, and he could do a step-by-step walking you through. I'm just going to kind of go over the highlights. So there's my right hand wheel motor. To take it apart, you got 4 screws around here. They're Phillips. If you try taking them out, note they are Loctited. Get yourself a fresh bit when you go to attempt to take them out and put a lot of pressure on to unscrew them. Also, after that, the motor pops right off. Down in that groove there, you have another Phillips bit that runs through the whole gear assembly. Bring you to the side of it, take it apart. I got down in there. You got these 4 long screws here that run all the way through the whole assembly. Those are also Loctited. Good, nice, clean bit. First set of gears you'll have are these little nylon gears, which mine are perfectly fine. The barrel of the reduction here is clean. No real big wear or anything to worry about on there. Here's the second set of reduction gears. Look good. Notice on the back side, I already pressed that out. I'm just kind of setting it in there so you can see. Take a close look at it though, you can tell she's got some wear going on it. You got a new one here that you just tap in. And what you do is you take these little pins, these guys off here. Like that. And it'll be flush. You just go in a vise, clamp them closer together. Size of the gear in there, like so. Take a punch, tap it, comes right out. See, it's easy to do. Then you take a look at these guys over here. These are the ones that are in terrible shape. You could see, see how floppy those gears and those pins are on there. They're just eating away to nothing. It's causing mine to track real bad to the left. And mine's a 115H, so it doesn't have bump stops on it. It kept thinking it was bumping into something and wanted to keep backing up. So basically just keeps thinking it's bumping and eventually air out and say it was stuck. Or trapped, I believe is the fault it was giving me. But you got those guys. He's got new gears for them. But also those pins are no longer round. They're kind of like a D shape now. So he's got a kit. Comes with new pins. You'll hammer them out. Hammer in some new ones, just like with the gear. And to get this whole assembly apart, you're gonna have to, I made a mistake that there's actually a snap ring on the shaft here. Got a little snap ring groove right there. And I didn't know that taking it apart. So I just tapped it through. But what I'm gonna do on my next one is there's actually 4 screws that go down in there. These guys right here. Also notice they got Loctite on them. What you're gonna do is go through the holes on here until they line up to the screws and take those screws out. After you take those screws out, you want to go over to the vise . You're going to want to have it be the size where it's just on the aluminum there. You got a little step on aluminum. You don't want to be on the part that protrudes. You want to be on the flats. So after you take those 4 screws out, grab yourself a punch like this guy that fits about the same as a hole on here, and then just tap with a hammer out. And then when it taps out, gonna be, this guy will come out after you take that. After you tap it out, this will be stuck together like so. Take that snap ring off, and then you can just tap the shaft out. After that, you're gonna go back and you got bearings. He supplies the new bearings. I had these ones in there, already changed them, but they're China batteries, right from Husqvarna. But for these guys, you go back and you set it in there so you're in the groove. Once again, you got that step on there, be about the right size. Take that same punch you had, you're gonna go in there and go on an angle so you can be crooked so you catch the backside bearing. There's a snap ring separating those two bearings, but you go on an angle, tap it down, you press the bearing out. Same thing, flip it over, and there'll be no bearing in there anymore. You'll see a snap ring. Don't beat on the snap ring, just beat on the inner race of the bearing. It doesn't really matter, you're getting a new one, so you're not going to hurt anything. It came out pretty easy. Nothing on this is, the only thing that's really bad on this thing is those screws. They are, that Loctite is no joke on them. So after you drive this guy out, you're gonna go back to the vise, get a little bitty groove in there. So that pin, you want just one pin to sit there, and the other two will probably sit on the outside. Find yourself another small punch. You're gonna punch out each one of these little guys, these pins. After you do that, turn it, and get all three of them out. New ones, you're gonna tap them. You can probably open them back up. Drop her in there like that. The pin that you're going to drive, in, have on the flat. So that way the pin stops when you get it all the way through. So you don't just keep beating them or beat them too far out. These ones are pretty much perfectly flat, maybe just a hair recessed. But go flat and you should be good on there. To get the wheel motor out, you got 4 screws that hold it in there. These guys right here, they're all Torx. I believe they're T20 off the top of my head. They come out the side on there. The one side, the wires are long enough that I didn't have to do it. That's what your motor looks like. Those go to the nylon gears. Didn't clean that up yet. But the other side, the wires weren't long enough for me to cheat it like that. I had to actually remove it. They had a bunch of screws on top. It's pretty easy. They're all the T20 screws. Seems like this whole thing is held together on the plastic, the same screw. And you got the ribbon that goes into the back side of it. It goes right there. Done do these ribbon things, pretty easy. You got these little wings on here. You just push down and out, and they pop right out. Just do both of them, and it pops right out. The guy that sells these kits actually sells. The kits come with new screws. So instead of being a Phillips head, it's a nice little Allen head. It's really nice because these screws are really small, and they're that Loctite was something else. I'm surprised I didn't round them off, to be honest with you. And then also the little, like these are the screws for the motor that go into the side. You send these ones. These are actually Torx bits. Look like they're probably a 15. I don't know, I didn't check. But get a lot more strength going on there. When you put it back together, I think blue Loctite be sufficient on there. I don't think there's no need to go to red or anything like that. Have any questions or comments, go ahead and post them down below. Sorry I'm not a YouTube professional, and this so my video here isn't the best. You know, be easy on me. Alright, thanks guys.